Welcome to the start of a new anime review series. Unlike with Dragon Ball Z, this will be a pretty short one. Yeah, this will be like a handful of videos. This one will be the part one of the review series for Claymore. Yep, I'm reviewing this particular anime, released from April to August of 2007. Yep, a 26 episode anime. I'm reviewing the very first episodes. Claymore Introduction. That's what the arc is. This one covers the first 11 chapters of the manga. The manga basically started in 2001 and wrapped up in 2014. 7 years after this anime ended. Why in the world the anime decided to end for, I have no idea. Now, the first 24 episodes are canon episodes. The last 2 are simply filler. The main character is this beautiful woman named Claire, who's voiced by Stephanie Young. Yep, one of those mini-series basically where Stephanie Young, and this is the first time I've seen where she voiced a leading character. Yep. And we also see a debut of one air character in just the first episode. Aside from Claymore, Claire herself, we have Riki, voiced by the ever awesome Todd Heppercorn. Yep. Now he basically made his debut in episode 1. Basically, and here's the thing: the studio that made the series is Madhouse. The same studios made series like Overlord, the 2011 Hunter x Hunter series, the first season of One Punch Man, an absolute fantastic. Oh yeah, they also made Death Note, a really fantastic studio. Yep, and basically, like, if you look at the way the series goes in the first few episodes, like, the first 2 episodes are very much standalone episodes, and 3 and 4 are simply a quick little two-parter. Yep. Now, in the case of these particular... Now, Riki, of course, the way the series starts out, we have these creatures called the yokai, who are these evil creatures that kill people, and the Claymores are basically female warriors who are scientifically altered to battle these creatures and kill them. Also, apparently, they stop aging because of this process, and they become half human, half yokai. Yep. And here's the thing about these particular women: they're all smoking hot. And the series basically, at least the manga, I haven't seen much of the anime to see this. The manga basically a humongous. Now, if you ever read the manga for Claymore, there is a ton of female nudity in this series. Oh my gosh, there is tons of it. It's like you can't go like one chapter without seeing somebody completely naked. Yep. Now, in these episodes, we do see Claire naked once, and you see her butt. That's it. That's what happened in episode 2. Now, Claire comes to this town which has Rocky. It's basically Hockey, something that name. The town is named. Oh, the thing is called Yoma. It's called Doga. That's the name of the village. And these creatures have been killing off every single member of the village, and these creatures also killed his parents. And so he starts following Claire around. He doesn't know Claire's name until the end of the first episode. And it turns out Claymore is not the name of the organization she's part of. That was the name that people gave them. They never picked those names. Yeah, the organization basically is meant to go kill these creatures. And basically these people were sent to kill those creatures. And then they have a representative from the organization. It mentions like every episode that a representative will come to the town and they will accept the fee. If the person dies, they get to keep the client gets to keep their money. Simple as that. That's the process works. And for her, it takes her a bit to find out exactly who the Yoma is. Yeah, it turns out it's actually Rocky's brother. Yeah, it's his brother. Which, yeah, he was one who killed him. Who basically killed his own family. And of course, he took over his brother's body, also killed his uncle. Claire showed up when he showed up in the episode. This is roughly 5.5 minutes of the episode. The main character shows up 5.5 minutes, and 6 minutes later, we find who the Yoma is, and he's killed pretty easily. And Claire leaves, And apparently the village, being so completely stupid, thinking Rocky is because his brother was one, think he is one too, so they exiled him from the village, and he basically starts traveling with Claire right after that. And they do this for a lot of the series, like from what I can tell from the manga, they did this for around the first 50 chapters of the series before they had to split up and go their own separate ways. But they did travel together for a good period of time. You also mentioned he's also a really good cook. And Claire apparently does eat, but apparently after a few bites she's full because of the power inside her basically keeps giving her a lot of energy. Okay, and in the second episode we introduced a thing called the Black Card. The Black Card is simply this, basically a request from a Claymore to another Claymore to kill them because the power basically is overwhelming their body and they want to be killed by somebody they know. So Claire goes, and the person that basically they're killing is somebody she basically joined the organization with at the same time, and they develop very briefly in the episode, and then she kills her. Yep. That was pretty much the whole point in the second episode. Of course, that's when they introduce the mysterious guy who pops up in the series. A guy by the name of... Let's see if I can find him here. Yeah, he's probably the only guy who's actually allowed to see Claire naked. Let's see if I can find him on here with his name. I can't really find him. I know he's human. He's part of the organization. Yeah, I can't find him. And he apparently checks on Claire. And I'm like, Claire, you do realize though this is a guy who's seeing you completely naked, seeing you in your birthday suit, and you have no problem with this at all. Yes, in case you're wondering, this is the only time in the series that he sees Claire naked. No, it's not the only time. He does it several times in the series, and she doesn't care. Nope. The reason why he's there, drop off some new clothes. Their outfits are pretty simple. It's like a one-piece like jumpsuit with some shoulder armor, a big sword, and like a little cloth to go around their neck with the symbol of the organization. It's also the sword, and that's their attire. They don't wear any boots, which I'm like, really? They don't? Yeah, and basically it's a skin tight suit, and it's kind of like zipped on from the back, and this is their attire. Almost every member of the organization basically wears this particular attire. Also, at one point in the manga, this was actually another of the anime, at one point Claire starts flashing her chest to a bunch of trainees of the organization, said, oh yeah, this is what you become, a beautiful woman. And Claire is smoking hot. So, in episodes 3 and 4, we go to the Holy City, which apparently they don't like Claymores. But the priest, Father Vincent, hires a Claymore to deal with the Yoma problem. Okay, so though he enters the city discreetly thanks to medicine, and Claire and Rocky pose as brother and sister. Though because he's younger brother. Okay. And they come from like wealthy family. At one point she says, I can pose as a prostitute. And he's like, I think I'll pass. But I'm thinking though, he's probably thinking, damn, Claire is smoking hot. Yeah, in case you're wondering, he does develop attractions to her in the series. And aside from a kiss, doesn't really go much any place at all. I mean, it's implied Claire does like him, but that it doesn't really go any place. They'll end up together in the manga. Now, it's also unknown if these women can have children or not. It's never stated at all from what I can tell from the manga. Yeah, they don't mention it. Father Vincent, the guy who hired Claire, he's voiced by Chuck Herber. There's also two guards between these two episodes. One is Gallic. He's voiced by the ever awesome Christopher Sabat. And Sid, his partner in the actual 2 episodes, this is Sid, voiced by another awesome voice actor, Eric Vale. Yeah, I mean, Gallic, if you see him, is like big bulky guy who is probably doing the voice. Christopher Sabat, skinny guy, and the way the voice sounds is definitely Eric Vale, because that's the thing with Eric Vale. Usually voices guys that are kind of bulky, but not like really freaking huge. Yeah, that's Sabat's basically not the character he voices. And Sid is a guy who's a knife thrower. And Gallic is simply kind of like a knight working for the Holy Church. And they actually confront Claire a couple times. Like, basically Claire talks to Father Vincent in the baptismal chamber. That's what they call this place. It looks like a freaking tomb that you would see probably in London. Yeah, they actually do stuff like this in London, but not here in the U.S. We would not have a room where basically we can look at someone's dead corpse. Yeah. Also, they brought with them a statue. What's inside the statue is now revealed toward the end of episode 4. Yeah, so Father Vincent tells Claire, come by later, we'll talk. And it comes by in the middle of the night. Apparently there's a curfew. And Rocky eats 2 helpings of food because Claire doesn't eat very much. Okay. And so she sneaks out. And, like, she just goes, talks to Father Vincent. He tells what basically is going on. This Yoma has been killing various priests. And he wanted to stop, so he hired a Claymore. Now, Claire does confront the first time with Sid and Gallic, and she gets severely wounded in the process. Yeah, she gets stabbed in the frickin' chest. Yeah, to the point where they bandaged her up, they bandaged her arms, and they basically bandaged her breast. Yeah. Though with the rematch, basically, of course, they also figure out exactly who exactly is the person. Now, how they investigate this is basically based on what she saw, basically one missing an eye. And so they pretty much get up all the priests, including the Archbishop. And Claire examines every single one, including Father Vincent, and none of them are the Ymir. Nope, it turns out he was take over a freaking corpse. Who this corpse belonged to is never stated. And of course, Claire, Gallic, and Sid take on this creature. And yeah, they end beating it. Claire starts her awakening. Yep, though thanks to Rocky, she's able to be contained. Yeah, because normally, basically, how the organization basically does is, if the awakening happens, someone they know has to kill him right away. But apparently, she's able to contain it. Possibly due to Rocky's basically kindness and the fact he, well, might be in love with her. I mean, what guy wouldn't? She's smoking hot. Imagine if you saw her naked. He'd be so turned on to see her completely naked. Oh, in case you're probably asking, do we see Claire from the front in the series naked? Yes, several times. You see her more from the back than you do from the front. And like almost every single character, female character, who pops up in the series has indeed at one point been exposing themselves in their birthday suits. Like every single one. Oh yeah, in case you're probably asking, have these women ever, because they spend a lot of time with each other, do these women ever make out? Is there a lesbian kiss in the series? Yes. Yes, there is. It happens in the chapters that weren't adapted for the anime. Yeah. I bring this up because I read the manga. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the manga it's only 155 chapters. But they published it over the course of 13 years. Yeah, 13 years publishing 155 chapters, so my guess, they probably were publishing weekly at one point, and they decided to switch to... They were publishing... Because here's the thing. We first read the first 2 chapters, because I read them on the Viz Media app. These chapters are freaking long. Like, the first chapter is like 60 pages. I am not kidding about that. Over time, the chapters get much shorter. Yeah, toward the end of the series, I would say after the first 12 chapters, the chapters get lower down to about 32 pages. Yeah, my guess is they probably were published monthly for a long period of time before they publish weekly. Yeah. I mean, I will discuss when I get to the video credits second season of the series. I will discuss that. But all in all, really good to have 4 episodes. And of course, I actually start watching the 5th episode where it establishes Claire's backstory. Yeah, in the first 2 episodes, she doesn't have backstory. It's never really explored. Yeah, but they explored Rocky's backstory in the very first episode, which I thought was really good. And all in all, really good set of episodes. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. Next review is going to be a review for the new chapter of Fire Force, and I'll discuss this particular chapter. Okay, see you next video. Bye.